and welcome back. I hope you're all doing fantastic. I want to say thank you again for the love and support on yesterday's video. Great reception from that one, and I love engaging in the comments with all of you that do decide to drop something down below. That being said, tons of different stuff to cover again today. This is not the metastable video. I do have that scheduled later today with the team, and hopefully that will be tomorrow's video that I will release. That being said, let's jump straight into this one to stop it from being crazy long. First things first, if we look at the market overview as we normally do, a lot of you won't be surprised to see majority of the markets are in the red today. Things are bleeding out quite badly. However, from the flip side or the other perspective, this is again a fantastic buying opportunity. I think a lot of people in Europe get paid towards the end of the month, so this is potentially a great place to average back into some of those positions, and is what I will be doing in the next couple of days or so. Hopefully this continues to hold out. I tend to be fairly thankful whenever we see pullbacks like this, as it's an opportunity to continue stacking the projects that we know and love that have great potential into the future. As I mentioned before, I try and keep it simple. Buy on red days, sell on green days. That tends to be a great piece of advice and will get you fairly far in the crypto markets. As you probably heard the saying previously, no one goes broke taking a profit. That being said, similar narrative to yesterday's video. Let's just have a look at some of the macros in terms of where we're actually heading. One of the things I wanted to show you guys, something I've shown on this channel before, is the CBBI website, Colin Talks Crypto's Bitcoin Bull Run Index. Fantastic website which tries to track and calculate where we are in terms of the bull run comparison of the Bitcoin price to a load of technical indicators we can see up here at the top. And what I wanted to point out at is the CBBI confidence interval is currently, say, 30 odd. The last time we saw 30 something for Bitcoin, the price was around the $10,000 region. Over time, the price has still increased, and we are now at $40,000 in this cycle with a CBBI confidence interval of 33. Now, if we looked previously at when the confidence interval was, say, 80, typically this maxes out around 80 to 100, and that signifies we're getting very close to the cycle top. Now, from the 30 previously up to where we were heading towards the top of the last cycle, we were around the $60,000 mark. The fact that we're holding $40,000 and we're around 30 signals that we could potentially go as high as $80,000 to $100,000 in terms of Bitcoin price for this cycle. That is a serious amount of capital that would be required to flow into these markets in order for Bitcoin's price to achieve that at the top end of this cycle. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that the majority of the other crypto projects in the space, particularly the blue chip altcoin projects, will also have very significant pumps if this does happen to Bitcoin. As we mentioned before, Bitcoin and similarly Ethereum are effectively the macro drivers for the rest of the market, and the majority of those projects follow suit once Bitcoin and then Ethereum move first. I've shown the altcoin season charts on this video before with the various stages of how the money flows between the projects. What I'm effectively saying is that when the bull run does arrive and we start nearing a cyclical top for Bitcoin, there will be some serious gains for a lot of these projects. Probably some of them that are lesser valued. You may see 5 to 10x on some of those investments. I'm still very bullish. Also talking about Bitcoin as well, funding is at the year's low. Typically, this has been a sign that bears are getting overextended and relief for bulls is due in the short term. So again, just another macro indicator. I showed off a few yesterday in that video, showing that this bear phase or this drawdown period that we're currently within for Bitcoin seems to be reversing, and we will see some price appreciation very soon. Something interesting that I wanted to look at other than Hedera today is Luna. So I've covered Luna on the channel a couple of different times now. Very interesting project that's just dropped, and it revolves around this Web 3.0 and gaming narrative in cryptocurrencies, and it's something called Expedition, the first play to earn AR, so alternative reality game, inspired by Pokémon GO. Expedition combines AR technology with crypto all into a mobile game. Expedition will launch on Terra Money to harness the power of LUNA and UST, which is obviously their US dollar stablecoin, which has accelerated massively recently. I think it even may have surpassed USDT in terms of market cap. The Expedition vision is simple. Pokemon Go has been the most successful mobile game in history. Its uniquely augmented reality experiences captivated users and created a new paradigm for gaming interaction. Expedition leverages the same technology to create the first AR game in crypto, allowing players to earn LUNA. We are a team of builders, gamers, and dreamers. Follow us to stay updated. This is an expedition you do not want to miss out on. This is incredible for crypto in general. If any of you did actually play Pokemon Go when that released, it was a very, very mental time. And that new piece of technology allowing people to sort of walk around and play the game in this sort of augmented reality experience was something very novel and not something that we've seen really been recreated since that launched. Now we're effectively seeing a crypto version which will enable you to actually earn LUNA and effectively a US dollar backed stablecoin for playing this game. I mean, this is crazy, and this is what we're all talking about when we're thinking of Web 3.0, how the metaverse is going to integrate, how these spaces and alternative reality can be truly meshed with not only daily life, but also pull in that cryptocurrency side. This was obviously followed up by a Twitter thread from Do Kwon, one of the founders of LUNA, and he mentions it is effectively a gamified user activation platform disguised as a Pokemon Go clone built on top of Terra money. Across Web 3.0, teams struggle with intelligent allocation of user incentives to maximize acquisition, engagement, and retention. This is because on-chain data is for now limited to verifying user actions. With Expeditions, imagine an AR game where users can perform certain actions in the metaspace to win NFTs like collecting Pokemon. And now imagine this becomes an open platform for any project or NFT collection to incentivize targeted user behavior. Channel NFTs for unique visits to stores. Tinder gives fire NFTs for asking someone in IRL, a Medal of Honor for acts of bravery like 1,000 people on TikTok. The design space to oracleize real-world events and tie it to ownership distribution, fungible tokens and NFTs alike is very large. Looking forward to the expedition. So you can see here, Do Kwon has just highlighted several different use cases of this technology. It is not beholden just to this particular game. This opens the doors for millions of different possibilities and extensions of this type of project into many real world applications. This is a seriously big move for cryptocurrency in general, and it is something that we should all pay attention to. That being said, I will release more videos as this comes out, as it is very interesting and appears to be a first mover within the space. And like I mentioned previously, it is merging that real world and crypto space closer and closer together. And this will be a test case for a lot of the technology we see within the blockchain and obviously HASHGRAPH areas. Moving on to Hedera, wanted to talk about Saucerswap again. I think I released a video 5 days ago. I've seen some comments from you guys. They've all now sold out. So Strong Nuclear sold out on the day of me releasing that video. Weak Nuclears followed suit very quickly, and the Gravity NFTs have now sold out. I do believe the Saucerswap team did actually reduce the allocation very slightly of the remaining 2 NFTs that are available, Gravity and Weak Nuclear. However, they now have fully sold out. And then they have actually released a tweet saying, congratulations to everyone who managed to get one. Now it's all systems go on preparing the launch of our decks. We look forward to sharing updates with you all in the very near future. Onwards and upwards, Hbar and Source. So as I mentioned previously, I do think we'll be seeing some updates probably within the next couple of days. I was mentioning anyway, prior to even seeing this tweet, that we'd hear something in April about the decks. And I'm very hopeful that we are probably only 3 to 4 weeks away at a maximum for this decks launch. Previously mentioned as well, we've got Tangent Finance in the works, which may end up releasing first. We don't really know yet. Regardless, all of these have different utility and benefits to them, and I highlight those in those top 5 crypto projects on Hedera video that I released, top 5 crypto gems. Talking about Hedera and HTS tokens, so Hedera Token Service tokens, Jam is now coming to Bitmark Exchange on the 26th of April. So Jam is another extremely low cap gem with incredible real world utility that's going to knock the socks off the music industry. So these guys are effectively trying to build Spotify in the Web 3.0 world, utilizing their native token Jam, project called TuneFM Official. I unfortunately don't actually have a Bitmark Exchange account. I may have a look. I'm not sure whether KYC is required. It probably is. Hopefully we see some more listings for Jam and you're able to pick these tokens up. I will do a bit more research and come back to you guys on this to see how easy it is effectively to pick up these tokens. I don't like registering to lots of different exchanges, particularly if they require KYC every time, as it's rather frustrating. However, I will have a look into it for you guys. Wanted to cover a piece of FUD from Hbar price. A lot of you guys have probably seen this Twitter account. Tends to spread lots of misinformation, fear, uncertainty, and doubt surrounding Hedera, and his latest tweet is no different. So Hbar price performance since open access 50%, e.g. it's gone from 12 cents to 18 cents versus Bitcoin's 282%, AVAX 1,329%, Phantom 6,433%. Now, obviously, this information is actually accurate. Of course it is. It's just the price difference between the opening and closing. I was actually putting together a infographic surrounding the annualized or CAGR, so CAGR, compound annual growth rate percentages for several layer 1 solutions since the Genesis block, i.e. the first block released publicly onto the chains, to try and illustrate this point. However, I didn't release it because I was worried it would be misinterpreted. And I think this kind of gets misinterpreted. Now, you could look at this in two ways. You could look at this as Hbar has underperformed the remaining layer 1 solutions in the space, or you could look at it on the glass half full perspective, being Hbar hasn't actually had its price appreciation just yet. It's not had the mammoth run. Would you invest in a project that's already done 6,433% over the span of, say, 18 months? I know I personally wouldn't, because you'd realize that there's not a lot of potential left in that project. Would you invest in a project that's only risen 50% since its initial inception? More than likely, you probably would if it still had the potential. So that's kind of how I see this. I see this as an opportunity for Hbar. It's not actually run up yet, whereas the likes of Hex, Solana, Phantom have already had massive runs that it will not sustain into the future. That's my take personally. You can look at that from two different perspectives, glass half full or half empty. Depends on the kind of person you are and how much belief you have in the technology. Hopefully you guys have some belief, considering how many videos I put out on the channel surrounding Hbar and Hedera itself. Great post over here as well on the Hedera subreddit talking about another partnership between Hedera and the Swiss HASHGRAPH Association. So Swiss Digital Assets Institute, SDAI, or SDAI, has just joined Hedera in partnership. Allocation of $16.3 million. The Swiss Digital Asset Institute was awarded an official mandate by the Swiss federal government to launch a training program designed to enable local startups and enterprises to adapt to the blockchain or DLT space. Purpose is to launch the HASHGRAPH Innovation Project, a global training and innovation program, empowering innovative startups, enterprises, and government institutions around the world to design and develop enterprise-grade solutions and decentralized applications. We will serve as a launchpad for Hedera's global expansion plans. Courses are accredited. So again, just following on from that Hedera narrative of it being an enterprise-grade solution, we're now seeing governments backing organizations to help people get into the space and leverage the technologies that already exist. Great news for Hedera in general, and hopefully drives that narrative forward of massive adoption. I wanted to round this video off talking about Shiba Inu. So there's been lots of noise recently on not only socials, but just the web in general, talking about Shiba Inu. And a lot of it's being driven by this new platform called Shiba Burn, powered by Ryoshi's vision. Burn your Shiba into a passive income. So the idea being is, I think you lock up to this burn portal, they'll effectively do something similar to what SafeMoon was doing and all those other interesting tokenomic projects on the Binance Smart Chain. You'll receive some kind of rewards for locking your money up into the protocol. What I wanted to mainly talk about is, if you literally Google Shiba Inu, you'll see lots of articles talking about technical anchors before a 45% price pop. The burning portal launching is massively bullish. Consolidation fractals could lead to massive bull rallies. The one I really wanted to dive into in this is this article here, talking about, it's not this article, there's another article, bear with me. This article here talking about a 100x rally coming soon. And this is just massive amounts of misinformation. So obviously on this channel, I'm not actually interested in this project whatsoever. And I urge a lot of you to seriously consider researching projects like this before you decide to pick up tokens. it is effectively gambling. They are complete meme tokens. It's literally in the name. They have zero utility, and these developers are now trying to adapt their projects to have utility to keep driving them forward into the future. However, that is severely unlikely because they are massively behind the curve. What I really wanted to cover on is when you see headlines like this, which unfortunately prey on people that don't know otherwise. So you can see this headline immediately saying Shiba is gearing up for another 100x rally. You scroll down immediately and it says, just after then, Shiba began its 1,035% rally that ended up putting Shiba Inu on the map. Now, first and foremost, that isn't even 100x. That's a 9x roughly, or 10x if you want to sort of round up. Nowhere near 100x. In fact, if Shiba Inu did 100x, I think it'd have a market cap higher than all other coins combined. When you read articles and headlines like this, it's a complete joke, and it's just literally looking for views. And that's what these headlines are doing. Now, I'm not going to call anyone out in YouTube, but if you search the same sort of thing on YouTube, you'll see lots of information about Shiba Inu and people talking about buying in, potentially being a 10x rally, 100x, 1000x. Whilst that may be true, you are effectively swing trading and you are pretty much gambling. So please be aware that if you are buying into meme projects like this, that you are effectively gambling. This is not a solid investment into the future. And something that will pay dividends over time. In fact, I will be surprised if this thing still exists in 5 years' time, and the same goes for other projects along those lines. That being said, none of that's obviously a financial advice. I urge you to do your own research, but just be considerate before you invest in lots of these projects. There are tons of different projects within the space which actually have utility. Think along the lines of Hbar, obviously one of the main narratives of this channel, as well as plenty of others that will better serve you into the long term, and you are actually investing in something that will develop alongside the crypto markets. Projects like this are effectively something driven out of a fad, and are one of the main definitions of FOMO. People FOMO into these projects because they see big green candles and they think they're missing out and they want to make a quick buck. That is not the case most of the time. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Lots of different information here. Like I said, stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed. There should be a video tomorrow regarding Metastable, the synthetic liquidity platform being built on top of Hbar. That should be incredibly exciting, and hopefully will give us lots more information. Until then, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.